think the biggest competitor of all of us here today at this event is the individual private motor car. And really, whether it's local public transport or railways on the long distances, we want to get those car users. We want to achieve modal shift. And probably digitalization is one of the best opportunities in recent decades to achieve that.
Today at the 14th Florence Rail Forum, we are talking about the implications of digitalization on railway operators and on the railway industry in general. Basically, we have academics, we have railway operators, we have regulators talking together about what that means for this industry.
Let's first of all distinguish between a rail undertaking and the rail system. We see the rail system as a contributor and perhaps the most important component of an integrated transportation infrastructure for a knowledge economy in Europe. Therefore, we're tying it to the activities that happen, that citizens engage in. Now, a rail undertaking is an actor in this system, and our idea is that a rail undertaking must become a provider of intelligent solutions to the sort of mobility problems that arise in the citizenry when they engage in economic activities and social activities. So it is a different sort of company. It's no longer just a transportation company. This is taking care of people who engage in activities in the knowledge economy. That is what we believe a rail undertaking should be. So moving away from the core business that has been going on for 200 years and into a new realm where there's a completely new set of technologies that we need, mindsets, skills that we need to supply from the market, from universities and so on. So that is the big challenge. It's really transforming ourselves to become an actor on this new economy.
Digitalization helps us to make the services easier to access by the customer. And that's the issue of mobility as a service. Our vision is that we provide a simple platform that the customer can use to enjoy all services in the transport market, starting with rail, but also using other modes of public transport and other modes of transport for personal mobility. At the moment, we're all afraid that the other one's taking our market, and we need to find a solution on fair cooperation, fair clearing of revenues and sharing of revenues, and fair access to data.
Those car users that we want to attract need to be able to see what's available, what rail options are there on the long distances. I mean, what are the different operators, compare the prices, a bit like in the airline industry, and also be able to put different tickets from different operators into the same booking, into the same travel train, because at the moment, in the current status quo, that's not always possible. And ultimately, we want to show transparent, impartial prices and make it possible to book from any railway station in Europe to any other railway station in Europe. And that's really what it's all about, a kind of rivaling the convenience and the reliability of the private individual motor car. And really, the digitalization is the best asset in recent years. If you share your data with ticket vendors, aggregators, then those third parties can do that, can fulfill that role. Of course, railway undertakings are very welcome to do that themselves as well. They can also act as ticket platforms, as vendors, as aggregators.
So taking into consideration that the European Commission is working on the winter package, the energy winter package, they are trying to promote efficient modes of transport. And in this case, railway, it is more efficient in terms of energy than other modes of transport. So in this case, I think that railway has a great opportunity. And for this, they have to take, or there are several challenges to overcome. The first one, it would be the regulation of domestic markets in order to allow some new entrants to the market and to have better choices for consumers, to improve quality, to reduce prices, to increase variety. And the other one, it is that we are in a context of digitalization, and there are new models and new service providers such as the sharing economy. So in this sense, I think that the railway railway industry should also embrace liberalization and establish new ways of, for example, setting efficient prices or information such as improve the trust and information in the markets and developing new reputation mechanisms just to try to compete with these new models for service providers.
So I think the role for railway undertakings is to fully engage in the creation of this data infrastructure, data layer by better opening up their data so we have a more comprehensive understanding of mobility system and people's needs, and also to further engage in opening their ticketing APIs so we have a better understanding of who's best suited to provide special services on top of this platform, such as mobility as a service. Well, I think the main challenge to reach that is first of all institutional, because railway undertakings have to move away from their traditionalist, monopolistic approach when it comes to data sharing, and of course there is a regulatory challenge as well when it comes to how they will be able to make use of the data, especially regarding security data and access to this data platform.
The main conclusion of our Rail Forum is that we have to make a clear distinction between the implications of digitalization on rail and mobility as a whole, where rail becomes part of an entire mobility chain. The second implication is totally different. Digitalization leads to the creation of a data layer, of a digital layer, of digital platforms, which will have to be regulated in their own right in the future. That's something that has not happened so far.